Chicago Bears are facing a high-stakes gamble that could either solidify their defense for a decade or leave them empty-handed on draft night. This urgent situation revolves around one powerful name, and that is Keldric Faulk from Auburn. If the front office stands still, they risk losing the one elite pass rusher who can change their fortunes. We are talking about a move that must happen right now, because the competition is already closing in to steal him away. Keldric Faulk is the man of the hour, and the intel I am hearing behind the scenes suggests the Bears are ready to pull the trigger on a trade-up to secure him. This isn't just speculation, because top insiders, like Albert Breer and Lance Zierlein, are confirming that Faulk is the primary target for several teams picking in the late first round. Houston Texans are specifically mentioned as a team looking to jump ahead and grab him, which puts Chicago in a very dangerous position. If the Bears stay at their current spot, they might watch their defensive savior walk right into the arms of a rival. To prevent this, the plan is simple and effective. Chicago intends to move up just one spot to pick 24 by working a deal with the Cleveland Browns. Cost is manageable because it involves swapping a 4th-round pick for a 5th and tossing an 7th-rounder to seal the deal. If this really happens, everything changes for us, so subscribe now so you don't miss the next update. We need a physical presence opposite Montez Sweat, and Faulk is exactly that kind of player. The urgency is real because our pass rush was nearly non-existent last year, finishing with the 2nd-worst win rate in the entire league. We cannot go into another season hoping for the best while other teams are getting more aggressive. The intel suggests that Dennis Allen and other defensive minds are enamored with his size and versatility. He is a massive defensive end who can also slide inside to create chaos alongside Gervon Dexter. This flexibility is what makes him so valuable and why the Bears are willing to sacrifice draft capital to move up just one single slot. It is a chess match happening in real time, and the board is set for a major move. We are talking about protecting the future of this defense and ensuring that Montez Sweat isn't left fighting double teams alone all season long. The legacy of this team depends on finding the right pieces, and Faulk fits the mold of a Chicago defender perfectly in every way. Montez Sweat changed the entire dynamic of this defense when he arrived, but the front office knows they cannot rely on him alone to carry the load. We have seen the flashes of greatness from this unit, yet the gap between potential and reality is still wide enough to cause concern. The current problem is deep because Dayo Adeyingbo is dealing with a devastating Achilles injury which leaves a massive hole in the rotation. You cannot expect a player coming off that kind of injury to provide the consistent pressure needed in this league. This is precisely why the scouts are sweating right now and focusing all their energy on bringing in fresh blood from Auburn. He is the missing piece who brings a level of raw power that simply does not exist on the current roster outside of the starting stars. When you look at the tape, you see a player who dominated the point of attack in the toughest conference in college football. He was the 20th ranked run defender in the country, and that is something this team desperately needs after finishing near the bottom of the league in run defense. The conflict here is that the Bears have a history of being too cautious on draft night, and that caution has cost them elite talent before. They are at a crossroads where they must decide if they are going to be aggressive or if they are going to settle for leftovers. Fans have been patient, but the time for patience is over when a game changer is within reach. This young man represents a new era of physical dominance in the trenches. He has the size to handle offensive tackles and the speed to chase down quarterbacks who try to escape the pocket. The coaching staff sees him as a high-floor prospect who can contribute from day one and eventually develop into an all-pro talent. The pressure is mounting on the general manager to make the call and move up to get the job done right now. This decision matters because it is the difference between having a defense that scares people and one that just hopes to get a stop. If the Bears move up and get this right, it will help them win more games immediately because they will finally be able to stop the run and harass the quarterback at the same time. Last season was embarrassing in some ways because we could not get off the field on 3rd down and we were constantly pushed around by stronger offensive lines. Bringing in a powerhouse from the SEC changes that narrative instantly. It sends a message to the rest of the division that Chicago is no longer a team you can bully in the trenches. If we fail to make this move in the Texans, or another team jumps us, the consequences will be felt for the next 3 years. We would be left trying to patch together a pass rush with veterans who are past their prime or late-round picks, who are not ready for the big stage. This is about establishing an identity. A great defense starts with the big men up front, and right now we are one man short of being elite. Winning in the NFL is about winning the one-on-one battles, and adding more muscle to the line is the fastest way to get there. It makes life easier for the linebackers, and it gives the secondary more chances to create turnovers. When the quarterback is under pressure, he makes mistakes, and those mistakes turn into wins for us. We saw how much better the defense looked once we had just one consistent threat on the edge. Imagine what it will look like with two of them. This move is not just a luxury, but it is a necessity for a team that wants to compete for a championship. The fans deserve a winner, and the blueprint for winning involves a dominant defensive line that controls the game from start to finish. We cannot let this chance slip through our fingers. Let us look at the two paths ahead, because the tension in the draft room must be at an all-time high right now. In the best-case scenario, the Bears move up that one spot and secure their target without giving up too much. He comes in and immediately forms a terrifying duo with Montez Sweat that forces opposing coaches to stay up late at night. Run defense improves from bottom of the barrel to the top 10 in the league, and the sacks start piling up. This leads to more wins and a deep playoff run that reminds everyone why Chicago is a legendary football town. But if it fails, the outlook is much darker. If the front office hesitates and the Texans steal him away, we are left with a massive question mark at a premium position. We would be forced to watch a future star succeed elsewhere while we struggle to find any consistent pass rush. That scenario leads to another year of frustration and wasted opportunities for our young offense, because they will always be playing from behind. The emotional weight of this choice cannot be overstated, because it defines the direction of the franchise. Do we want to be the team that takes what it wants, or the team that waits and sees what is left? The coaching staff is likely pushing for the move because they know their jobs depend on results. If this works, the general manager looks like a genius who outmaneuvered the rest of the league for a minimal cost. But if he sits on his hands and the draft board falls the wrong way, he will have a lot of explaining to do to a very vocal fan base. This is the ultimate gamble with the future, and the stakes could not be higher for everyone involved. The difference of just one draft slot seems small on paper, but in the reality of the league, it can be the difference between a legacy of success and a legacy of failure. The situation is clear, and the clock is ticking down to the moment of truth. The Chicago Bears have a chance to secure a dominant defensive force in Keldric Faulk, and the only thing standing in their way is a small trade with the Browns. We have seen the data, and we know the needs of this roster are centered on the defensive line. Be honest with me, because I want to know your thoughts. Would you be willing to trade away a future pick to move up just one spot for a guy who could change the defense forever? It seems like a no-brainer to me, but the draft is always full of surprises. This is a defining moment for the front office, and they cannot afford to get it wrong. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because things are moving fast and you need to stay ahead of the curve. Leave a comment below and let us know if you think this trade is the right move for the future. This isn't just a move for today, but it is a decision that will define this team for years.